Tim Allen never hated anyone more than this one co-star. And the revelation might surprise you. The beloved sitcom star, who built his career making audiences laugh, has harbored some intense feelings towards someone he worked closely with for years. Behind his jovial on-screen persona and trademark grunt, Tim Allen's relationship with this particular co-star deteriorated into something far from friendly. Who could have earned such strong negative emotions from Tim Allen? The answer lies in a complicated history of perceived betrayal, misunderstandings, and career decisions that left Allen feeling genuinely hurt. Let's uncover the truth about Tim Allen and the co-star he reportedly couldn't stand. The world of Hollywood is filled with famous friendships, but not every on-screen partnership translates to real-life camaraderie. Tim Allen has worked with countless actors throughout his impressive career spanning over 3 decades in entertainment. From his breakout role as Tim the Toolman Taylor on Home Improvement, to voicing the iconic Buzz Lightyear in the Toy Story franchise, Allen has shared the screen with some of the industry's biggest names. Many of these professional relationships blossomed into genuine friendships that have stood the test of time. Tom Hanks, his Toy Story counterpart, has spoken highly of Allen on numerous occasions, with the two maintaining a warm relationship despite their limited time recording together for the animated films. Nancy Travis, who starred alongside Allen for 9 seasons on Last Man Standing, developed one of his strongest on-set bonds. Their chemistry was evident to viewers, and they shared a mutual respect behind the scenes, making filming enjoyable for both. Allen once described their relationship as a perfect marriage without sex, borrowing a line from Patricia Richardson, his Home Improvement wife. This comfortable dynamic allowed them to play off each other naturally and create the believable family dynamic that helped Last Man Standing succeed for nearly a decade. Even Richard Karn, who played Al Borland on Home Improvement, maintained a friendship with Allen long after the show ended. The two reunited for the History Channel series Assembly Required, demonstrating that their connection had evolved beyond their sitcom days. These positive relationships show that Allen can form lasting bonds with his colleagues, making his intense dislike for one particular co-star all the more intriguing. Before Tim Allen became a household name, he paid his dues in the competitive world of stand-up comedy. His journey wasn't always smooth, and transitioning from comedy clubs to television brought challenges. When Home Improvement launched in 1991, Allen was thrust into the spotlight with a cast that included relative unknowns and child actors. As the show's star, Allen was responsible for its success, creating natural pressure that occasionally manifested in intense moments. Patricia Richardson, who played his wife Jill Taylor, experienced some of these tensions firsthand. While their on-screen relationship appeared seamless, Richardson later revealed that behind the scenes they occasionally butted heads over creative differences. Tim was very passionate about the show, she said in an interview. Sometimes, that passion came across as intensity that could be difficult to work with. Despite these moments, Richardson maintained that she and Allen shared mutual respect even when they disagreed. The early seasons of Home Improvement also saw Allen adjusting to the demands of television production. Long hours and the pressure of delivering consistent performances created an environment where frustrations could easily boil over. Some crew members from this era have noted that Allen could be particularly demanding when perfecting scenes. One former staff writer recalled, "Tim knew what was funny and what wasn't. If something didn't work, he'd let you know immediately. This direct approach didn't always sit well with everyone involved in the production." As Home Improvement grew in popularity, so did Allen's influence over the show. With success came more control, and Allen began to take ownership of the series in ways that sometimes created friction with the writing staff and fellow actors. While many respected his comedic instincts, others found his growing authority difficult to navigate. These early tensions, however, were merely a prelude to the relationship that would eventually become Allen's most strained professional partnership. Becoming one of ABC's biggest hits in the 1990s, Home Improvement brought the cast fame that changed their daily lives. For Tim Allen, this meant transitioning from stand-up comedian to television star virtually overnight. The show's success opened doors to film opportunities, including the Santa Claus and Toy Story, further cementing his status in Hollywood. But this meteoric rise wasn't without complications, particularly when managing relationships with co-stars whose careers were also taking off. The young actors who played Alan's sons on Home Improvement, Zachary Ty Bryan, Jonathan Taylor, Thomas and Taryn Noah Smith, quickly developed their fan bases. Thomas, in particular, became a teen heartthrob, appearing on the cover of countless magazines and receiving thousands of fan letters weekly. As their popularity grew, balancing the demands of a hit show with their burgeoning careers created scheduling, conflicts, and shifting priorities that Alan sometimes struggled to understand. Alan, who had worked for years to achieve success, occasionally expressed frustration with what he perceived as a lack of appreciation from some of the younger cast members. "I came up the hard way," he reportedly told a crew member. "These kids don't know how lucky they are." This generational disconnect became more pronounced as the show progressed, particularly with one young co-star whose ambitions extended beyond Home Improvement. The dynamic on set began to shift as certain cast members started receiving offers for other projects. Movie roles, voice acting opportunities, and other television appearances created scheduling challenges for Home Improvement producers. While Alan remained firmly committed to the show that had launched him to stardom, he noticed that not everyone shared his singular focus. This divergence in professional priorities laid the groundwork for what would eventually become his most contentious co-star relationship. The seemingly perfect family portrayed on Home Improvement masked growing tensions behind the scenes. As the show entered its later seasons, the strain between certain cast members became increasingly difficult to hide. Crew members occasionally witnessed heated discussions after the cameras stopped rolling and the once harmonious set developed undercurrents of tension that affected the working environment. Tim Allen set the tone for many of these interactions. As the show's star, his perfectionist tendencies meant that scenes were often reshot multiple times until he was satisfied, leading to long days that tested everyone's patience. One episode director noted, "Tim knew exactly how he wanted a joke to land. If it didn't work the first time, we'd keep going until it did." While this approach resulted in quality television, it created an intense working atmosphere that not everyone appreciated. The writer's room also experienced the effects of these dynamics. As Alan gained more creative control, he began rejecting storylines and dialogue that didn't align with his vision for the show. This caused friction with the writing staff, some of whom felt their creative input was being dismissed. There were days when entire scripts would be overhauled because Tim wasn't happy with them. A former writer recalled, "It could be demoralizing after putting so much work into something." The relationships between the actors playing the Taylor family also grew complicated as the show progressed. While they portrayed a tight-knit family on screen, the reality behind the scenes was more complex. Patricia Richardson later revealed that maintaining the appearance of familial harmony sometimes required professional acting both on and off camera. "We were like any family. We had good and bad days," she explained. "Some days we all got along great, and other days we just did our jobs and went home." As Home Improvement continued its successful run, these behind-the-scenes tensions remained largely hidden from the public. Fans saw only the finished product, a polished sitcom about a loving family navigating life's challenges with humor. The reality, however, included professional disagreements, creative differences, and one relationship that would eventually deteriorate beyond repair. Years after Home Improvement ended, several of Tim Allen's former co-stars began sharing their experiences working with him. These accounts painted a complex picture of a talented performer who could be generous and demanding depending on the circumstances. Patricia Richardson, who spent 8 seasons as Allen's on-screen wife, offered perhaps the most balanced perspective. "Tim and I had great chemistry, but we also had our moments," she said in a 2020 interview. "He's intense about his work, which made the show better even if it sometimes made the set tense." Richardson also addressed the significant pay gap between herself and Allen, revealing that she left before the planned 9th season, partly due to compensation concerns. Despite these issues, she has consistently defended Allen's character, stating, "Tim made me laugh every day. He had his issues like anyone, but was never inappropriate with me." This nuanced view suggests that while Allen wasn't always easy to work with, the relationship remained fundamentally respectful. more. Recently, actress Casey Wilson shared a starkly different experience from her brief time working with Alan on The Santa Clauses.